Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Professor Aisha Humayun here. Today in this video, I'm going to talk about how to write an original research paper. And this video is the first part of a series of videos in which you can learn different sections of a original research paper. So today I'm going to talk about writing a title and abstract. So this content includes all the content in all the series of this original research paper writing videos. The first objective is to know, or the content of these videos are what are the essential components of a high quality original research manuscript, and which is suitable for submission to international journals, and also understanding, utilizing, and following ICMJE guidelines and Equator reporting guidelines for preparing an original research manuscript, and also apply effective strategies to enhance clarity, coherence, and scientific rigor in manuscript writing. To recognize the expectation of international editors and reviewers regarding originality, methodology, and relevance. And also to develop practical skills in structuring abstracts, writing compelling introductions, and crafting strong discussion section. So I will be sharing 5 videos just on different sections of original research paper writing. So first of all, we will be looking into what are the components of an original research paper, and then specifically focusing on the abstract and the title. So when you look into journals publishing different items, for example, journals publish original research, they publish review articles, clinical case studies, opinion articles, letters or recommendations, short communications, book reviews, clinical trials, data paper, conference proceedings, technical reports. There are so many variety of the items that a scientific journal publishes. So today we are going to talk about original research article only. So if we talk about writing, we should know two important guidelines. Number one, the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors. These are the uniform requirements for manuscripts submitted to biomedical journals, ICMJE, icmje.org. This is the website. And the second one is reporting guidelines for writing research, depending upon the design, what kind of design is being used in a specific project. So these are the Equator network resource that is used, and they have multiple guidelines available for different types of study designs along with their extensions. So this is the website, and I am showing, this is a short video inserted in here to make you familiarize with the website of web page of the Equator Network. Here you can see randomized control trials. We have consort guidelines, and consort, there are extensions available as well. For observational study, we have strobe guidelines. For systematic reviews, prisma. For study protocol, spirit. And for diagnostic and prognostic studies, we have starred guidelines. For case report, we have CARE, and likewise for animal research, we have ARRIVE guidelines. For qualitative, we have COREC. So these are different guidelines according to the research design. And these are very helpful. For example, if we look into the consort 2025 checklist is available on the website. And in this checklist, these are the authors who actually revised this checklist. And in the Equator Network, you can see there are multiple options of consort available. For example, if you need a checklist, it's available in form of checklist. If you need a expanded checklist, that is also available. A flow chart to be inserted in your methodology as a separate figure or separate table showing exactly the number. And you can have statement and explanation and elaboration as well. So I'm opening the consort flow chart. This is the flow diagram or flow chart which explains enrollment, assessed for eligibility, and how many were excluded, and because of the reason you can mention over here, and how many randomized to two groups, If there are more than two groups, you can insert another row, another column of these, and there how they were allocated, how was the follow-up conducted, how frequently, and then the analysis, intention to treat analysis or per protocol analysis that we can. I will be elaborating in some other video on study designs. So here you can see the other website, ICMJE. These are the guidelines, recommendations given for the authors and for the journals as well. So here you can see, we can explore different details about how to write a manuscript. And by clicking on the manuscript preparation and submission guidelines, you can see all the details are given how to write a manuscript. But because these are the outlines, so you have to look into the details or examples of the same journal in which you are interested to publish. Just download latestly published research paper, just a similar kind of paper like yours, like your topic, and then you can see how the paper was written, and because it was accepted by the journal, so you can follow that pattern as well. Otherwise, you can use ICMJ guidelines, go through the guidelines, and then you can make your own draft. So now, structuring your manuscript. So it's just like telling a story once upon a time, and you need a beginning, introduction, a body that is the middle of your paper, and then you need the conclusion or the ending of your story. So it should be easy to understand, easy for the readers to grasp the topic, grasp the conclusion, and understand it. So original research article, the components include the IMRAD format, introduction, methods, results, and discussion. But before these four headings, you have to give the title, authors, abstract, and keywords. And after this section, you can give acknowledgement, references, appendices, or supplementary files. So we are going to talk about all these one by one. So first, in this section, in this video, the part one, we are going to talk about the title and the abstract. Okay, so a scientific article must answer the following. What is the problem that is addressed? This answer question is addressed in the introduction. The detail is given in the introduction. And why is it important? That is given in the rationale. That is the last paragraph of introduction. And usually the introduction is of 700 to 800 words if the word limit is 2500 of the whole manuscript. And how did you study the problem? That comes under the methodology. And what are your results? That comes under results. And what are the implications of the results? That these implications are mentioned in the discussion section. Implications as well as limitations are mentioned. And what do you recommend as further study for others? That is included in the conclusion and recommendation section. Usually conclusion includes recommendation. So now talking about the writing style, an article should be understood easily by the readers. Use plain language, avoid jargon, be precise, be active, not passive. Short words should be used, short sentences must be used. It should need to be plural, gender neutral, international readers should be considered. So whenever you write Lahore or city name, you should write the country name as well. We explain abbreviations first time when they appear, and the standard abbreviation also when they appear first time, they need to be explained. Cross out as many the's as possible. So title and abstract. The quality of an abstract will strongly influence the editor's decision, so it need to be very strong. A good abstract is precise and honest. It should be crisp, concise, and accurate. It should stand alone, that after reading the abstract, the reader can understand. First of all, the editor is going to read your abstract, so editor must be able to understand what the entire manuscript is about. So use no technical jargon, and the abstract should be brief and specific, and it should cite no references. Use the abstract to sell your article. Now talking about the keywords. Keywords are important for indexing. They enable your manuscript to be more easily identified and cited. So traditionally, journals request to provide 5 to 10 keywords or short phrases in alphabetical order. And keywords should be specific, avoid uncommon abbreviations and journal terms, and try to use mesh terms. And what are mesh terms? So for mesh, here I have shown the MESH website. It is medical subject heading, and National Library of Medicine has made this actually available for the scientists and the researchers. These are all medical scientific terms that are used, and there are multiple categories of these terms, and there are subcategories. And by you, if you select a category, all the subcategories they come with the main category. So whenever someone writes subcategory for searching anything related to that. For example, if I'm searching carcinoma, oropharyngeal carcinoma, and the category is main category is carcinoma, you have taken the keyword of carcinoma. So when you search for when I search for oropharyngeal, your paper will pop up, because the oropharyngeal is a subcategory of carcinoma. So in that way, if you use mesh term, it means that you are it's more easier for you to be visible to others. Your paper will be visible to others. And for example, I am asking ChatGPT, so is carcinoma a mesh term? In that way, I can get a detail about the mesh term, and I can confirm without going to the website of mesh, and I can get a clear picture of whether carcinoma is a mesh term or not. So here is the unique ID. It's a tree number is given. Its definition is given. Entry terms they are given. So in now I'm writing is adolescent mesh term. So let's see what ChatGPT gives an answer to this question. So again, mesh term, adolescent is a mesh term. So again, what about literacy? Okay, so literacy is also a mesh term. It's also given, and there are different related mesh terms like health literacy, numeracy, information literacy, etc. So it's a complete guide that ChatGPT provides you. So you can use AI tool to select your keywords. And I asked about population. So it's not a mesh term, mesh heading, and there are certain population density, growth. These are terms that are commonly used instead of just population. So now coming back to the title and abstract. So here is a paper that shows a knowledge, causes and practice of self-medication during COVID-19, a population-based survey in Dash. So I have not mentioned the site over here or the country over here, and I have concealed the names of the authors as well, just to make you understand to unbiased, so you can learn without any bias whether this paper was published in an index journal or impact factor journal or not. So here, starting with the title, do you think this title fits an ideal title? So we need to know about some certain points or checklist. So there is another title, Efficacy of Water Preloading Before Main Meals as a Strategy for Weight Loss in Primary Care Patients with Obesity. This is an RCT conducted on dash dash dash. So there is again name of the area. So these are two titles. So one by one we start. A good title should be clear and concise, ideally 10 to 15 words, or maximally you can have 20 words according to ICMJE guidelines. You avoid jargon, make it plain and simple. English should be used. Informative reflects main variables, population or setting, and it should be specific, not vague like a study of health was conducted in about the causes and practice of self-medication. No, don't use certain kind of vague, such kind of vague terms. It need to be balanced, not too broad, not too narrow, and it should reflect study design. For example, if it's a cross-sectional, you can write in title a cross-sectional, or it's a randomized trial, you can write randomized RCT. Here it is written population-based survey, so it means that study design is already written in the title. So this seems to be a good title. It is using different variables and it is specifying the population. It's a population-based survey and it's talking about self-medication and its knowledge, causes, and practice. So avoid unnecessary word like an investigation into or a study of. So these are unnecessary words. Include key terms that help indexing and searching. Mesh terms in health. Ethical and professional. No sensational or misleading claims should be done. So now we look into the other title. Is it a good title? Clear and concise? Yes, it seems to be clear and concise. Informative, but might be words. Words are seems to be more than 15. Okay, informative. Yes, it seems to be informative because it is talking about efficacy of water preloading, when, before main meals, why, to check the weight loss in primary care patient. So population is also mentioned, even inclusion criteria of population, that is obesity. Primary care patient with obesity is mentioned, and RCT study design is also mentioned over here. So we can say that it's a good title. And include key terms. Include we can include key terms. We should include actually key terms for indexing and searching. So if we use mesh term in the keywords, we can use synonyms of those mesh terms. The again, maybe preferably it must be from the mesh terms, but maybe synonyms of the keywords which are mentioned in the keyword section. And but the title should contain all those variables which are mentioned in the objective. So the title should be in line with the objective, and the keywords can be synonyms of the keywords mentioned within the title. Okay, so talking about the abstract now. uh, Number one, we will be talking about the background. In this paper, why was the study done is clearly explained. The context and the gap is mentioned or not. So if you read the background, self-medication is a public health issue that is on upsurge, and its side effects accelerate the burden of healthcare, pharmacists, and the economy. The demand for self-prescribed medicines during the COVID pandemic was found to be on the rise globally. So it sets the scene. The background is a rationale of the study, and it gives a clear picture talking about COVID-19 pandemic and self-medication. So it gives the context and as well as the gap. Not you can say 100%, but it's good. Above around 70-80%. They are fulfilling this requirement. Second point is objective. Is there a clear aim of the study mentioned? So if you look into the method section is not starting with an objective. It should start, or the background should end on a line stating the objective. So here you can find the objective to analyze knowledge, causes, and practices of self-medication. But if this is the objective, then it's not mentioning COVID-19 in this, because the title has COVID-19 mentioned in it. So this need to be revised. The chi-square test was used to examine the relationships between the categorical variables. The Pearson correlation coefficient determined the relationship between quantitative variables and age, gender, marital status, education, profession, field, knowledge, causes, and practice of self-medication were variables included in the survey. So we will be looking into the result, whether all these things are applied in the result or not. All these variables, they are mentioned in the result section or not, or chi-square and Pearson correlation applied or not. Now look at the method section. Is the design mentioned? Yes. Survey is mentioned, but they can also write cross-sectional study. And setting is mentioned. Yes, setting, I have concealed that setting. Sample is mentioned. Sample size, no, sample size is not mentioned. Variable mentioned. Even sampling technique is not mentioned. So sample includes sample size as well as sampling technique. Variables mentioned. Yes, variables are mentioned, but there seems to be so many variables, and now we will be looking into analysis whether they have analyzed all these variables or not. Then analysis. No, they have mentioned a test here, but they have not mentioned which SPSS, Excel, Stata, or Access, or any other software they have used for data management, and the version as well. So here another thing that they are missing is about the IRB approval, the ethical concerns, and especially the informed consent, whether a written informed consent was taken or a verbal consent was taken. So these in two things, analysis and the IRB approval or the ethical aspect, need to be mentioned in this abstract as well. Now coming to the second part is the results and conclusion. Let's see whether the results, they are adequate or not. The key findings with data are mentioned like percentages, mean, p-value of relevant. They have mentioned percentages. They all are the percentages, but they are not actually covering all the variables they have mentioned in their method section. Plus, so they haven't operationalized many variables. They have not defined the variables. I don't think they are there in the main results as well. So here another thing is missing, the p-value. They have talked about chi-square test and correlation coefficient as well, but not mentioned in the result. So the result seems to be insufficient. Conclusion. Conclusion is the main takeaway and the implication. So in this population-based survey suggested that legislation, awareness campaigns, and media should work with the community and government to fight misinformation about alleged COVID-19 preventive medicines on different platforms. So these are suggestions. They are not conclusion. This section is not concluding the research that was conducted, but they are giving recommendations. So this again is not appropriate. So now coming to the style of the same abstract. Is the style good within word limit? Okay, 150 to 300 words. 300 words are quite good, so it's good. Fine. No references, tables, or figures. Yes, that's good. Avoid vague terms like significant results without data. No, they are not mentioning any significant results, and rather they are not even mentioning the p-values or results they conducted. Okay, so past tense for methods and results, present tense for conclusion. No, the conclusion, because it is suggestion, so it's a kind of they are talking about something in future, not present tense. So conclusion should be in present tense, while the method and result should be in past tense. Plain and precise language, avoid abbreviations unless widely known, like WHO, HIV. Otherwise, they should not use abbreviations. So, okay, the English is plain. So in the style section, we can give marks to this abstract. What about the other paper? If we talk about the content, why was the study done, context and gaps? So we cannot find any background over here. Might be the reason they are following the journal guidelines. If there are not, a background is not mentioned by the journal, then there is no need to put background over there. But ideally speaking, background is mentioned in ICMJE guidelines as well. So we need to write it. Objective is given and it's clear. Method, we can say that objective is not SMART, not talking about the population where this study was conducted, not talking about the time. And so the smartness of this objective is not good. Still, coming to the method section, the method explains the design and the sample size, but not the sampling technique. I cannot see the sampling technique over here. And this follow-up was done, remaining of the things they are mentioned, primary outcome is mentioned, several year of adherence were also used. But again, SPSS, which version was used or which software was used is not mentioned, IRB approval not mentioned, written informed consent is not mentioned, or if verbal, even that need to be mentioned. Then results. 41 participants were randomized to, again, when you start the sentence, you don't write in digits, you write words. Start with word. So again, they have given the p-value, confidence interval, and but the result is quite less than even the method section. So they can, again, we can recommend them to put more results or more key findings over here. And again, their conclusion is just one-liner, and it's not sufficient. And the again, one good thing is that they have mentioned the trial registration number over here. Now the content. Why was the study done? Again, sorry, coming to the results and conclusion, key finding data, we have just talked about it, and even we have talked about the conclusion implications as well. So talking about the style, word limit, yeah, that's good. No references, vague terms not used, past tense for method, and present tense for conclusion. Yes, there is preliminary evidence. That's good. So plain and precise language is being used. So thank you very much. And if you have any question, you can just write down in the comments and I will try to reply to them. And do check the second video, part 2, talking about the introduction section of an original research paper. Thank you.